Hello and welcome into the Q&A show. My name is Bob Theriot, and I'm so happy you guys made a little bit of time to join me here tonight on this Wednesday night. I have a really cool guest on. She was supposed to be on last week, and the powers to be, Mark Zuckerberg, unplugged Facebook and Instagram last week, and I'm sure a lot of you felt it. A lot of people are probably didn't know what to do with themselves that day. They couldn't like things, they couldn't post things. And it actually, put our show on hold for a little while. But welcome into the Q&A show. Before I get started, if you guys are here and you're watching this live, do me a favor, hashtag live, like this stream. It helps us get the word out. And if you wouldn't mind sharing it out, because the more people that see that, the better for everybody, okay? I think you could get a lot of value off of my next guest. Her name is Tiffany Menefee, and she's actually the president of Pronto Body Shop. And let me tell you a little bit about her. She's a president of Pronto Body Shop, but she took on the role almost 4 years ago and has grown the business from a small shop with a financial hardship. And she moved it into a more well-known shop that is thriving. And it was recently featured on the cover of a national auto collision magazine, which that's really hard to accomplish. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Ms. Menefee is a fixture at both the local chambers, along with other multiple nonprofit organizations in town. And if you are part of them, you've probably seen her, because I've seen her at a ton of them. And so I want to bring her on, and you guys help me welcome Miss Tiffany Menefee. Hey, Tiffany, how you doing?
Bob, I'm good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad we're actually able to come on live tonight.
I know. Everybody was a little sad last week, but we got it going together tonight.
I'm sure you. It affected your business a little bit as well, because you're very active on social media as well.
We are very active on social media, and so everybody's like, "What happened?" And so, but yeah, we posted everything just the next day.
Awesome. So for those of you who don't know Tiffany, like I said, she is the president of Pronto Body Shop. So Tiffany, before we get into it, give everybody a little bit of a background, where you grew up and how did you actually get into the body shop or collision repair business?
Sure. So I'm actually originally, I grew up when I was younger in Abilene, Texas, tiny little town on the outskirts there, and then moved over into the Austin, Texas area. I lived outside of the Austin area where I grew up when I became an adult and started going to college. I ended up going into Austin and living there, and I was practicing as an insurance agent. And so I did insurance for basically almost all in my entire life. So I was a licensed insurance agent for property casualty and life and health. And then I got licensed as an insurance adjuster. And then I started specializing in insurance claims and how to work with them and special investigations. And that basically brought me to El Paso. And 4 years ago, I had the opportunity to take over Pronto Body Shop. It was sort of floundering after the original owner had passed away. And I said, well, I know everything about insurance and I know everything about dealing with claims, I think. And, I know how body shops work and everything. So, well, let's give it a try, let's extend what I know about insurance into the body shop world. And so I jumped feet first into the body shop industry. Really never have ran a shop before, but I said, the primary thing with body shops is dealing with insurance companies, and that's my specialty. So here we are 4 years later, and I must be doing something right because I'm still here and we haven't gone bankrupt.
Well, you're doing something right. So the national average is the average business lasts 5 years. So you have one more year to go before you beat that national average.
To beat that, I think we're going to make it. We're doing okay. We've definitely increased. So when I took over the business, we only had one full-time employee and 2 part-time employees, and we're at 13 employees now. So it's definitely changed in, the 4 years since I took over. There's not as many tiers as there were in the beginning.
So you bought the business, or do you have a partner?
Yeah, I'm the 100% owner of it right
You're
now.
100% owner. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I mean, I don't see too many women in the industry. I came from the industry. I was in the glass business for 17 years, and I did see some, but not in too many leadership roles like yourself. So, I guess as a woman, do you find it challenging working usually in I guess a male-oriented industry, really?
And people ask me that all the time. And, sometimes there are frustrations. There are times that you get people that call and do not want to deal with a woman. I had one earlier this week, and he didn't want to talk to some little girl, and he didn't want to talk to a biddy. And you took everything in me to keep my cool with that gentleman. But I was not going to let him talk to anybody else. I was going to make him talk to me. His option was either talk to me or you don't need to do business with me. And so that can be frustrating. But as far as like really working in the industry, I don't feel like it's been really hard for me. The main thing is being knowledgeable. If I wasn't knowledgeable, then I would probably get walked all over. But for me, maybe they questioned me a little bit in the beginning, but the moment they saw that I knew what I was talking about, and a lot of times I was more knowledgeable in some incidences than they were, they gave me full respect. So I also think growing up with my father, he had a construction company, and I was always around, laborers and guys in the blue collar field. And so, it just comes natural to me to be in this style of industry. So I personally haven't felt like it's been really hard to work in this male dominated industry, but I also have a pretty big personality, and I expect people to, listen to me. I can be pretty loud. So I think sometimes not that you're a woman, it depends on your personality, because I can definitely tell you if you were meek, you would probably get walked all over. I mean, I've had guys try to do it. They're like, no, I'll take the car and we'll pay you later after I make sure it, is taken care of. No, you're going to pay me now before you take your vehicle. This isn't how the game is played.
Right.
So it's interesting, but I think any industry has its challenges. But I really don't I honestly sometimes feel like being a woman in the men's industry here actually gives me a little bit of an advantage, because they don't, I think they get caught off guard of how educated I am in reference to like repairs and insurance claims and things like that. So I think sometimes they underestimate me, and I use that towards my benefit.
Oh, absolutely. You do stand out and I think it also can work to your benefit in the regards to women doing business with another woman, right? They feel more comfortable.
Oh, people feel way more comfortable. And it's not just women coming into the shop feeling comfortable. Guys feel more comfortable dealing with us also. So everybody in my office is actually a woman. So we still let the men work for us. We allow that. But actually my shop manager, my parts manager, my marketing manager, they're all women. And so when you walk into the office, you're usually greeted by 2 or 3 women. And so it makes it more comfortable. And like I had a gentleman in here earlier, and he's like, you know what, as a man, he says, like, I feel uncomfortable going into, automotive shops or body shops because I don't know that much about cars, but I feel really comfortable coming into y'all's shop because I don't feel like I'm being judged. And I think, not everybody knows about cars, and that's okay. I mean, it's what you like. So, I mean, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, that's true. That makes a lot of sense. So what is it that you find most challenging? So this could go for male, female, running a business, day-to-day operations. What do you see as one of your biggest challenges?
For me, employees and customers. I mean, that's the gamut. That's like the whole 180. I think really for us, it's helping the customer to understand what's happening on this side of the repair, because sometimes the customer thinks, okay, well, gosh, that should just be an easy fix. Take the bumper off and put the bumper on, but they don't see what's going on the back end sometimes. Like you might order something and the bumper comes in incorrect, or it doesn't fit correct, or you put the paint on and for some reason the bumper's supposed to come primed, and it does come primed, but there's extra chemical on it that got touched on there in shipping or something, and then it causes something to happen, or a part's delayed. And I think for us, it's getting customers to feel comfortable and understand, like, hey, you know, it's not as easy of a repair. And so, like, for us, we're really big on, like, we try to explain to people, like, look, this is like the repair process. You know, you have to order parts and wait for the parts to come in, and then once they come in, this is how it's done, because it's, you know, a lot more time consuming and you know, in detail than what some people think. And so I think that's our biggest challenge, is one, you know, helping the customer understand, you know, the repair process and how it's going to affect them, because it's not easy. You were in the window, you know, the window industry, you know, you order stuff and it comes in wrong, or it comes in broken, or they tell you it's going to come in on Monday at 3:00, and here it is Tuesday at 3:00, and the part's still not there. And they swear that they, you know, have it. Or like yesterday, I was waiting for a part, and they say, no, FedEx delivered it. I was like, FedEx did not deliver it, and they delivered it across the street. You know, so, you know, I think that's the for us, the like biggest thing that we have to battle is, you know, helping customers understand, like, the repair process and how it's moving through the system.
Yeah, just from my experience, I can remember, or just being in the automotive industry, people are just very distrustful of that industry, right? Mechanics.
Distrustful. And you know what? They have a lot of right to be. And I think some of the distrust comes from they're not familiar with the repair process or the mechanics of it. But a lot of the distrust comes from, because let's be honest, body shops and mechanics are like a dime a dozen, and like maybe 5% of them you can trust. And it can be frustrating. And it's sort of, you know, cars are sort of like your body, you know, especially you hear something that's wrong and you think that's it, and you try to diagnose it, and you know, sometimes that is correct, and then sometimes it's not. So, you know, it can be really hard. And I think the perception of, you know, being distrustful and stuff, whereas where good communication comes in, you know, people are a lot less distrustful if you keep them updated regularly and try to tell them stuff and be like, hey, this is what's going on with your car, or hey, this part came in wrong. We're not trying to delay you on purpose. You know, we're just keeping them updated, because I think when you leave people in the dark, that's where they get distrustful, because it's like, hey, you've had my car a week. Why isn't it fixed? But if you've kept them updated regularly and tell them what's going on with each situation, then it helps, you know, break that distrust.
I can remember being very young, my first brand new car. I had bought it from a dealer, and I won't mention the dealer, but the hood faded within like a year, right? So it had a bumper-to-bumper warranty for, I don't know, back then I think it was 12 months. And I took it to the body shop, and they had it for like 8 or 9 days. And no one would call me. So I just showed up to the dealership and walked in the back, and the car was still parked where we left it. And nobody called me, right? And it's like,
they probably forgot it was there. They probably forgot it was there. Sometimes we have people drop cars off, and like they'll get towed in and won't like give us a heads up. And I'm like, where did this car come from? Oh my God, there's like a car and we don't even know like who it belongs to. So I'm like, if you tow the car in, let us know. I mean, if it's coming in after hours or over the weekend, because sometimes cars just magically appear, and I'm like, great, but I'm like, I don't know who to contact about this car until somebody calls me. So you
show up and it's just parked in the parking lot, right?
We have it happen all the time, and we're like, I hope somebody calls us, because we don't know where this car has come from.
Or what to do with it.
It does happen. And I just want to make a point out. You're talking about the dealerships. And I tell my customers this all the time. Just because you buy a car at the dealership and it has a Carfax that's clear does not mean that car has not been wrecked and repaired. Because the only people that actually report to Carfax are the insurance companies. And we fix cars all the time on claims and stuff on like damage to cars that is non-insurance related. And the body shops don't report to Carfax. We don't have a way to do it.
So only dealerships report to Carfax?
Only insurance companies.
Only insurance companies. Okay. Wow.
The dealerships don't typically report it either.
So you can actually go to a car or dealer and think you're buying a clean car, and it's not.
I can tell you, I had a guy, he was from El Paso and he drove over to Phoenix, thought he got a great deal on a car, brought it back. And then he had another incident and he wrecked it himself. He brought it in. And when we started doing the repair, we started seeing other things that were missing off of the interior portion of the car and things like that. And basically we had to ask him like, hey, has this car been fixed before? He's like, no, I bought it, from the dealership, and it had a clean Carfax and there was no issues, and it had a lot of issues. It had probably about $4,000 worth of like missing parts and things that needed to be corrected on it just to fix the, what hadn't been fixed before.
So what recommendations would you give a consumer then, knowing that now, what can they do?
My recommendation is, no matter if you're buying a car off of a car lot, a dealership, private party, is have a mechanic check it and have a body shop check it. Because I can walk out and look at a car typically, and if I can't tell it's not been in a car accident, then that's a good repair. It doesn't necessarily mean it hasn't been in an accident, but if I can't tell that it's been in an accident and then it's been repaired, then that means it was done well. Because ultimately that's what shops should be doing. You should be providing such a good repair that it's hard for a professional to tell if it's been repaired before. And the same with the mechanic, because like mechanics, they deal typically just with the mechanical issues. They don't know the telltale signs of what to look for, on a vehicle. Just like to tell if a vehicle's ever been painted or had a hood replaced, you have labels underneath the hood that have information. You have labels on the inside of your door jamb when you open your door. If those labels are missing, that's a telltale sign that that car has been painted before.
Right. And that's something the normal person would not know, or the average person would not know.
No. Yeah, if those labels are missing. So that's a really easy one to tell.
So you were in the insurance industry how long before you got into the body shop business?
Do we have to say how old?
No.
Almost 20 years.
So the reason I was going to ask you is because we had talked a little bit earlier, and you were saying even in the last 4 or 5 years, the industry has changed tremendously. And let's talk a little bit about people filing claims, because I did a little research, and it just said that the average person is going to file a collision claim every 17.9 years, which doesn't seem like a lot. Okay.
I would have to say it's more like once every 5 years.
Right.
From my experience, because remember, you don't just have, most of the people have multi people in their household. It's not a single person. It's, a mother, a father, kids, multiple cars. So my recommendation is, because every insurance company is different. We have specific rules that are set up by the Texas Department of Insurance, but as long as the insurance companies fall within those, they can handle claims however they want. And so my recommendation is, if you're going to go through the insurance, well, let me touch base on 2 different things. So if each insurance company has a different claims process, so they have different procedures on how they handle stuff. My general recommendation is, go ahead, if you're having a claim, turn the claim in. And then my recommendation is find a body shop that you trust and you feel comfortable with, and then go to them and let them know, hey, this is going to be a claim with this insurance company. Here's my claim number. What should I do next? Because a lot of the insurance companies don't care what I say as a body shop. They could care less. I could say it's $3,000. Another shop could say it's $5,000. The insurance company doesn't care. The insurance company is going to do their estimate first and then authorize it. And then the shops have to work off of that estimate. And then if there's something they don't agree with or that is missed, there's specific supplement processes that are set aside by the insurance companies that you have to go through to make sure things are taken care of correctly. So you want a good shop that knows how to work with insurance companies to make sure you're taken care of correctly. My general recommendation is, if you're ever involved in an auto accident, and if the accident is your fault, obviously exchange information, go ahead, turn in an insurance claim and start the process. If the accident isn't your fault, my general recommendation is, depending on how the person is that caused the accident, hey, I'm driving and I rear end you, Bob, and I get out and oh gosh, I'm so sorry that I hit you. Let me get you my insurance information. What you want to do is say, okay, thank you. Can you go ahead and call your insurance right now and turn the claim in? Because what happens is then there's a record that that person was involved in an incident with you on that date and in those vehicles. And what that does is that's recorded by the insurance company. So there's a claim turned in. So when you call to turn in the claim, they can start that process, because what happens is if that insurance, say I rear end you and I give you my information, I say, deal with my insurance and turn the claim in, and you call and turn the claim in, and my insurance is going to have to call me to verify I was involved in that incident. And if I refuse to answer my phone or call the insurance company back, my insurance company has so many days to make contact with me. And if I refuse to call back, then they have the right just to deny the claim because they can't verify I was in that incident. So if you have them turn the claim in at the scene of the accident, even if they don't do their recorded statement, they just tell the insurance company, yes, I was involved in an incident on this date. Then there's a record of that. So then the insurance company has to make a liability decision on what's going to happen in reference to fixing your cars, instead of just denying it because they can't get a hold of their customer.
Well, that's a good tip. That's
really important, because it happens all the time where people get taken advantage of. And the other thing I tell people is, even if you have liability only on your car, you should have uninsured motorist, because what happens, there's multiple type of insurance policies that we deal with when it comes to a claim. So typically there's what's called a permissive use policy and a named driver policy. And what happens is a permissive use policy is, say I break my leg and I needed to go to the hospital, and Bob, you get in my car and you drive me to the hospital and we have a wreck. Well, if it's a permissive use policy, it means that, hey, I gave you permission to drive my vehicle, so there's insurance. It's going to cover my car and it's going to cover the other person's car. Say I have a named driver policy, same scenario. I break my leg, you have to take me to the hospital, you get in my car and drive me to the hospital, we have a wreck on the way there. Well, that's a named driver policy, meaning your name is not on the policy, only my name is on the policy. So even though it looks like I have insurance, there's not going to be any coverage because you're not named on that policy. So the person we hit and my car have no coverage. So it's really important to have uninsured motorists for scenarios like that, where maybe somebody has a named driver policy and it looks like they have insurance because they have an insurance card and it's valid, but they're not listed on the policy, so there's no coverage. And so if you have uninsured motorists, it takes care of you. Or if you have hit in the parking lot and they leave the scene, they hit you and they just have no insurance, or they hit you and they take off. Most of the time, it's usually they hit you in the parking lot and don't leave their information. But so uninsured motorists is super important. I want to say about half of the claims that come through my office, through the shop, are uninsured motorist claims.
Let me ask you a little bit about steering. Does that still happen a lot, where people call their insurance company and they try to force them to go to another body shop that supposedly is not on the list, right? And they make the consumer think that if they don't take it to a specific body shop, they're not going to get the repairs, it's not going to be guaranteed, or they'll be held responsible for any overcharges. Do you hear that still? Is that still going on?
Technically, it's not supposed to. Steering is against the law, but it does happen. So what happens is, a lot of insurance companies, if you've ever turned a claim in, they ask, do you want a list of our preferred body shops or our preferred vendors? Right. And basically, we guarantee the repairs, and, they'll be taken care of, and we've inspected these shops and we want you to go there. Well, I just like to, sort of think about it. As a large corporation going to send hundreds of thousands of dollars of business to a smaller corporation or smaller business for free? The answer is no.
Yeah, right.
No one's going to send hundreds of thousands of dollars of business to another shop for free. What happens is what we call them direct repair shops. So when you have an insurance contract with a contract with the insurance company, for that insurance company to send business over to you to work directly with them, you have to give something up. You each have an individual contract. You might have lower rates. You might say, hey, if we go over on rental, we'll cover rental. We'll pre-order parts before the customer gets there. And then if we have to return them, then we have to pay the restocking fee, and we're not getting reimbursed on that. So there's some thing that they're giving to that insurance company to get that business sent over to them by the insurance company. So my general recommendation is, and it's sort of when I was doing SIU special investigations, this is my problem with shops that are contracted with the insurance company. And I feel like it's a conflict of interest, because if something happens with your repair, and say the vehicle comes in and the insurance company we provide the estimate, and the insurance company says, no, I want to fix something this way. And as a shop, I say, no, I don't agree with that. That's not the correct way to repair that. That needs to be sectioned or whatever. And I can't come to an agreement with the insurance company. All I can do as the contracted shop is either repair the car the way the insurance company wants, or I can't tell the customer the issue. All I can tell the customer is, hey, we're not going to be able to fix your vehicle at this time, and send that customer to another shop. I can't tell the customer, hey, the insurance company wants to fix your car this way, and I feel like that's not the correct way to repair it. This is the reason why I feel like it's not the correct way to repair it. You're not going to hear that from a shop that's contracted with the insurance company. So when you go with a shop that's not contracted with the insurance company, it doesn't mean that they're better or worse. It just means that they don't have an interest for the insurance company first. There's not that conflict. They have hopefully they have their customers in interest first, because in that same scenario, if I can't, if the insurance company comes out and we can't come to agreement on how to repair that car correctly and safely, then I can go to the customer and say, look, this is what they want to do. This is why I don't agree with it. These are your legal repercussions and what you can do to hopefully get this resolved and fixed. And so then they can take that and be like, go through their legal rights and things like that. So that's why I have not ever been on a direct repair or contracted with the insurance companies, just because I don't want to feel like I have a conflict of interest. I'd rather have my customers' interest first and not the insurance company. I mean, I work with the insurance companies. All of them know me. I have no problem dealing with them. They're all super easy to work with. I just don't want to ever feel like I'm caught in that conflict of who am I picking and whose interest do I really have at heart?
Right. I don't blame you. It could put you in a precarious situation there.
It definitely can. And, I'd rather, be able to take care of my customer.
So when it comes to getting estimates and things like that, if somebody's involved in a minor fender bender and the car's still drivable, would you recommend that they get estimates, or are you trying to get in front of them before so that you can, if they trust you, if they know of you? But most people don't know.
The insurance companies, it used to be the rule of thumb, like, oh, go get 3 estimates, and the insurance company, they don't care. They don't care what we say as a shop. So just depending, if it's a minor fender bender and it was your fault and no one else is involved and it's pretty minor, my rule of thumb is generally go and get some estimates, because what you want to look at is the cost of repair. So remember, your deductible is probably $500. That's the average deductible people have. Well, you have to remember the insurance, when you turn in a claim, is going to make your rates go up. So your rates are going to go up 10 to 20% on your auto insurance for 3 years. So you want to do the math. So, say you're paying, and I'm not going to do the math well here, but say you're paying $100 a month and you turn in a claim. You have to realize your rates are going to go up between $10 and $20 a month. Let's say they go up $20, and it's going to go like that for 3 years. So that's 20 times, like 240 times 3. Do the math for me. That's $720 plus whatever you paid your deductible, $500. So that's like $1,220. So in that scenario, anything that's under $1,200, you just want to pay out of pocket, because you're going to end up paying more if you go through the insurance. But anything over $1,200, you turn a claim in for. So you really want to do the math when you're involved in a minor fender bender and you're the only one involved and you're fixing your own car. Now, like if you're involved, like say you're involved in a regular collision, there's 2 parties involved and liabilities have been accepted, and the insurance company is going to take care of the repairs. What you want to do is find a shop that you can trust, that you feel comfortable with. I usually recommend checking Better Business Bureau, checking Google reviews, talking to them. And if you feel comfortable with them, then move forward with that shop, because that shop is going to say, work with you to make sure the insurance company covers the claim correctly. Because ultimately the insurance company is going to do their own estimate first. That's no matter what. They're always going to do their own estimate first. And then I have to work off of that. And I'll say, okay, look, they put aftermarket parts on. Do you want aftermarket, or would you prefer factory parts? Because there's not a guarantee that they'll put factory parts on. So then we can work with you and tell you, this is your options. This is what's legal. This is what's not legal. And we can sort of tell you the different things. So my recommendation is, if you're involved in an accident and it is going through the insurance, check out Better Business Bureau, Google, and then make sure you find a shop that you feel comfortable with that will work with you, because they're going to be the ones that negotiate with the insurance company to make sure that vehicle is repaired correctly.
It's a great answer. You're getting a question coming in, Tiffany. It says,
I love this question. I hear it all the time.
Let me ask it. Okay. So they're saying, Gus, this is from Gus Ariano. How about when a body shop says that they will work with your deductible? How does that work?
Okay. I get this question all the time, and people ask it, and people don't want to pay their deductible. And one, people don't understand deductibles. I try to tell people it's sort of like your copayment. When you go to the doctor, you have to pay your copayment. When you see the doctor, it's the same thing here. Your deductible means you're responsible for that first 500 or 1,000 or 250, whatever your deductible is. And then the insurance covers anything after that. So what happens, a lot of times shops will be like, oh, I'll cover you. We'll waive the $500 deductible. Don't worry about it. Well, I have to just point out, think about it. There's not a lot of leeway with the insurance estimates and how things are to be able to, what we used to call fluff the estimates. Because people tell me, like, can't you fluff the estimate to add more damage onto the repairs that isn't actually there? And then I don't have to pay my deductible. And the answer is no, because with the insurance companies, I have to prove what's damaged. So they have eyes, they can see what's damaged on that vehicle. But what happens is, like, say there's additional parts that are damaged that need to be repaired. The insurance company is either going to want to see the part, or they're going to want an invoice and a picture of the part. So if I can't provide an invoice and a picture, then they're not going to pay for it. So it's hard to fluff the estimate. So there's not as much fluffing of the estimate as it used to be. So what happens is you really have to think about it. If somebody's saying, hey, I'm going to waive $500 of a $2,500 claim, that means the body shop's going to make $2,000. In a $2,500 claim, there's not $500 worth of real profit to just waive. We're going to be then doing the work for free. So you have to think about it. Most of the time when a shop says they're going to waive the deductible or not charge it to you, it means they're doing something different than what the insurance estimate has put on there.
To me, it says they're taking a shortcut too. They're probably not putting something on there that
they're taking a shortcut. Because let's be realistic. If your car has a front end damage and we repair it, how are you to know, did I replace the absorber or is it still broken? Did I replace the reinforcement or is it still broken? The bumper is there and it's painted and looks great, but how do you know what's underneath the car? You don't, and so you don't have a way of verifying what they've cut corners on. And that's what happens a lot. We see cars all the time that have had the deductible waived or issues waived, and then you go and they're in another incident and there's items that aren't repaired, and you think, okay, well, maybe it's not that big of a deal, but it is, because if that item is damaged and you're in an accident again, it's not going to hold the structural stability of it. It's not going to hold the same as if it was a brand new part and not previously damaged. So it's really important. And most of the time when they're waiving a deductible, it means they're not doing something. I do waive deductibles sometimes. And this is what I do. If it's a really large claim, I might have enough profit to waive that deductible, but I need to make a realistic decision. And usually it needs to be like an $8,000 or $9,000 claim for there to be enough profit to be able to waive $500. And it needs to be a situation where it's a referral or it's a customer that's been here multiple times, for us to waive that, because I want to do a good repair. And the other thing is, if a shop is waiving a deductible and they're not doing something that was on that insurance estimate, that's deemed insurance fraud. So if, the shop says, hey, I repaired this vehicle per this insurance estimate, and they didn't, that's insurance fraud.
Right.
Now, if they tell you, hey, look, the reinforcement just has a scratch. It's not structurally damaged. Would you like to not have that repaired? And we can take that cost off of your deductible. And you notate it and you tell the customer and they know what's happening to their vehicle, then it's not insurance fraud. I tell people all the time, I had one the other day. Their headlight was like $1,000 for a headlight and their deductible was $500. And the headlight was just scratched. It wasn't actually physically broken, but because it was scratched, the insurance company had to replace it. She was like, I don't have money for my deductible. How can you help me? I said, look, your headlight's scratched. If you don't want to replace it, it's $1,000. We can take that off of your estimate and then not charge you your deductible. So, the claim was so much. And then on the insurance paperwork, we said, hey, vehicle repaired per insurance estimate. Customer did not want headlight replaced. Credited, and then you show the credit of how much they're getting that was on the estimate, and then we took that off of there, and like in that case she got a refund because we didn't do that. So that's not fraud because you've told the customer what you're not doing and what you're doing differently than what the insurance estimate is. And I tell people, if they're going to waive the deductible, I would much rather them ask, what are you not doing to my car? Because I would much rather know what's not happening than just guess. Right. Because let me tell you, there's something not happening.
You have a follow-up question here from Gus saying, well, when you have hidden damage, can you resubmit the claim if you find out about it later?
Yes. So, you have what's called a supplement process. So generally what happens is when you have like say a rear end, you rear end somebody and you have front end damage to your vehicle, the insurance company is only going to write the estimate for what they can visually see. So when they visually come out and look at it, they're going to say, okay, I can see the headlights are broken. I can see the grill is broken and the bumper is broken and the fog lights are broken, but I can't see if the radiator is damaged and I can't see if the reinforcement's damaged. So what happens is once they write the initial estimate, they only do what they can visually see. And then once it comes into the shop, we have what's called a supplement process for hidden damage. So we do what we call a tear down process. So we take off the damaged items. So we're removing that bumper and the headlights, and then we make a list and we mark up with a paint pen like everything else that's damaged underneath that vehicle. And depending on the severity of the claim, you might have 2 or 3 different supplements where you're going back to the insurance company and saying, hey, here's a list and here's all the additional damages and broken parts. And then they pay for those. And then you start putting that car back together and you realize, oh crud, there's some missing parts that maybe got left at the scene of the accident that you didn't realize because there's so many little plastic clips and things. And then we just go back to the insurance company. So there can be multiple supplement processes. Now, if there's additional hidden damage months down the road, they will pay it, but it needs to be directly related to the claim. So if we can't correlate that hidden damage to the accident, then they're not going to pay it. We have to be able to correlate the additional hidden damage to that being caused by that accident to get the insurance company to pay it. And so that's where you want to have a good body shop. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. I have one right now. They said that, this was already that there was an additional thing that was happening. It was actually with their compressor on their, AC system. And, the insured is saying, hey, my compressor was working. The insurance company is saying, we're not going to cover it. And so we're working through that process because you have to be able to correlate that damage because of the accident. And so, yes, and you only have from the date of the accident 2 years to get your vehicle repaired. So, and that's the same with supplement also. So if you've turned the claim in and you got your vehicle repaired and it's now 2 years down the road, you're not going to be able to turn in a supplement for additional damages or hidden damages because you're past your time.
So how does a consumer know when they're dealing with an unscrupulous body shop or collision shop? Like what is a telltale sign? Like if they walk in, what should they be looking for?
One, always do your homework. Check Better Business Bureau, check Google reviews, and don't just go with one review because sometimes you'll see people with just one review online. You want somebody that has multiple reviews. Go with your gut feeling. The one thing I see all the time is if the body shop asks you to leave the insurance check and leave it signed, do not do it.
Run. Run.
I see it all the time. People drop their cars off, they leave them the money, and then their car never gets fixed.
Right.
Do you pay for service before the service has happened? The answer is no. So you don't give them that insurance check until the vehicle is repaired and you're ready to pick it up, because that's your leverage. They have your car. Like, you know, I had a customer last year, he gave them an insurance check and it was for like, it was a lot of money. The car sat there for 8 months and didn't get repaired. And now he's having to fight with, you know, the county to sue this guy to get his money back, you know, because he gave him the money free. He signed the insurance check and handed it over to him. And he had nothing, no paperwork or anything saying they were going to fix his car. So make sure if you're going to repair a vehicle, you know, don't give them the insurance check until it's ready to be picked up. And the only time a body shop, in my personal opinion, should be asking for money up front is if it's a non-insurance related repair.
A cash job.
A cash job, and you can ask for parts up front. Like if it's a cash job for us, it's not insurance related, we'll ask for the cost of the parts up front. So, you know, if it's a $5,000 job and parts are $1,000, we'll say $1,000 up front to cover the parts, because people don't pick their cars up sometimes. And I don't want to be stuck with a car that I fixed. And then, you know, so, you know, that's okay. If they ask for part cost up front, but never pay the full amount up front, because you have no guarantee that they're actually going to do the work. And it's a lot harder to get those people prosecuted than you would think to be able to, you know, recoup that. And small claims, don't even get me out, small claims court doesn't work at all. All they do is put it on their credit.
I'm sure you have horror stories.
Only one, and I'm still mad about it.
Well, I think you've shared a lot of information. If you guys go back and watch this in replay, #replay, so we know that you saw this, because Tiffany, you delivered a lot of information.
I know,
here.
and I feel like there's more I could tell you.
Oh, I'm sure.
But this is my thing. Go with somebody that you feel comfortable with and has good reviews. If you don't feel comfortable, that's not the shop for you. I mean, and I tell people all the time, if you don't feel comfortable with me, then I'm not the shop for you. I'd rather answer questions all day long and make sure you know the information. And then if you want to come with us because you're comfortable, great. But if not, that's okay also. At least I know you're not taken advantage of, because it happens so often in the industry.
So tell people, how do they get a hold of you? Where's your shop located? Your website, all that good stuff.
Yes. Okay. So we're at prontobodyshop.com. Look us up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We're everywhere. Pronto Body Shop is the tags for everything. And we're in the central area of El Paso, close to downtown, but not downtown traffic, right off the Cotton Street exit. Our address is 1420 Myrtle Avenue. You can come by for estimate. We're here late every single day. We're here 9 to 1 on Saturdays, and we try to make it super easy for customers. We'll walk you through the process of all the claims. If it's a non-insurance related claim, we tell people all the time, you know, text us a picture, email us a picture, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, send us a picture and we'll work you, you know, we'll help you get a base estimate. And then if you want to come in, you can. We'll try to make it as easy as possible. But like I said, we're really focused on educating the community. And then if they want to come with us, wonderful, because our business is based off of referrals. And so we really try to take good care of the customer.
Phone number, website?
ProntoBodyShop.com. Office number is 915-533-0912. And just look us up and we'll take care of you.
Awesome, Tiffany. Thank you so much for sharing this information with my audience. It was really valuable, very, very good information. You're welcome to come back anytime.
Have me anytime. We can talk about marketing next time.
Yeah, we'll do a whole marketing thing.
My favorite subjects.
We'll do a marketing thing next time. But you hang tight, Tiffany. I'm going to talk to you real quick. But okay, for everybody else, I appreciate you guys tuning in to the Q&A show tonight. We're going to be coming out live. We have a lot of exciting things happening with the show. We'll be revealing here pretty soon. I'll be heading out to LA. We'll actually be shooting some episodes out there, but I will get with you guys later on this. But again, look for us every Wednesday night. We try to come to you live, and make sure to hashtag live if you're watching it right now, and hashtag replay if you see this later on down the road. Until next time, you guys, I hope you have a good day and a good night. Bye-bye.